Dr. Joe here of the drjoe.com and the 2020from.com. So I've got something really exciting for you folks today. We are going to be talking about what I call the 3 axes of cholesterol reduction using dietary approach. And I want you guys to really understand what it means to use food to help peg down your cholesterol levels, to use what goes into your mouth to peg down your cholesterol levels. And by the end of this video, you would have understood the entire concept. So this is the 3 axes that I'm talking about. So you got cholesterol there, right there in the middle, cholesterol reduction right there in the middle. And this is going to be axis number 1. And then we're going to talk about axis number 2. And then after that, we're going to talk about axis number 3. You could also call them the 3 pillars of cholesterol reduction as well, using dietary approach. Now, because this video is about cholesterol reduction, I was approached by a company that is based in Florida. The company is called Hillright, okay? And their website is hillright.com. They make nutrition bars, and here they are, okay? And these bars will also help you to reduce your cholesterol levels. So I had a look at what they've been doing, and I like what they're doing, and that's why I agreed to partner with them. So let's just have a quick look at their website. So let me bring you to the hillright.com website. I like them because these guys, they practice evidence-based nutrition. They create positive health markers for people. They develop their products with daily micronutrients and fiber in mind because these have an impact on your metabolic health. And they got different bars, different flavors that taste good. The product has been scientifically tested. This is an 8-week study using different products of Hillright. And this study shows, an increase in HDL cholesterol, which is a good cholesterol, a decrease in LDL cholesterol, which is a bad cholesterol, a decrease in triglycerides, decrease in diastolic blood pressure, decrease in heart rate, reversal of insulin resistance, and of course, that means lower blood glucose levels, and also a reduction in weight as well. So a really well-packaged products that are good for management of cholesterol and triglycerides, reversal of insulin resistance, dealing with chronic inflammation, and of course, weight management. So I really like what they're doing here, and Hillright is a company that I recommend, and of course their products as well. And here are the flavors of the nutrient bars that are going to help you to reduce your cholesterol levels. The first one here is peanut butter banana. This is one of my best flavors. I love this one a lot. And the second one is caramel apple fig. Okay, another nice flavor there. And the third one is chocolate cherry pomegranate. Also a very good flavor. I love this one too a lot. And the fourth one is lemon blueberry. So you get all 4 flavors when you place your order as a package, and they are available at hillright.com. okay, hillright.com. I'm going to leave links to get all of these right below this very video, in the first comment, as well as in the video description. And as you guys know, I always like you guys to get value in everything that I do. So I have requested a 20% discount for you folks. So all you need to do is, key in Dr. Joe. Use the discount code Dr. Joe, so DRJOE, when you check it out, and you will be entitled to your 20% discount. Links to get everything will be right below this very video, as well as in the video description. So back to our presentation on cholesterol reduction using diet. It's time for us to look at axis number 1. For axis number 1, or pillar number 1, what we want to do is we want to reduce our dietary cholesterol intake. And this is very important because I've said it before that if you are trying to empty the tank, you cannot be refilling the tank at the same time. If you do that, then obviously you are not winning. So essentially, what we want to do here is to cut down drastically our intake of foods that are high in saturated fat and trans fats. It's that simple. Examples of such foods would be things like red meat. So for red meat, you'll be looking at things like lamb, pork, and beef. For white meat, a classic example of that will be the chicken. And then dairy is another, and dairy is quite notorious for elevating cholesterol levels. And in this very category, you'll be talking about things like creams, the sour cream, the heavy cream, the double cream, the light cream, as well as cheese. They're all very guilty of raising cholesterol levels. Those dairy foods that are high in saturated fat, and then of course milk as well. And in this very group here, we have to include oils that are hard at room temperature. So the lard, the tallow, the ghee, the butter, and then of course coconut oil as well. It has to be included in that. These are foods that will raise your cholesterol levels or have the potential to raise your cholesterol levels, and you want to be eliminating these foods from your diet, or at the very least, cut down drastically on their intake. That's all that you need to do for pillar number one.
And the next axis we want to talk about is axis number 2. And this one is particularly exciting.
For axis number 2 or pillar number 2, what we want to do is inhibit intestinal absorption and reabsorption of cholesterol. That's what we want to do. Now, the absorption and reabsorption of the cholesterol, there's a slight difference between them. And, they're essentially the same thing, but there's a slight difference between them. And I'm going to explain that now. And to understand the process of absorption and reabsorption of cholesterol, you have to appreciate what we call the enterohepatic circulation. So entero means bowel, intestines here, and then hepatic means liver. So there's a constant flow of cholesterol between the liver and the bowel, and then back to the liver, and then back to the bowel again. So this constant exchange of cholesterol between the liver and the bowel is what we call the enterohepatic circulation. In simple terms, what happens is that the liver discharges cholesterol to the bowel through the bile. And in the bile gets involved with the digestion process, in particular fat digestion. And of course, at the end of digestion, the nutrients are going to get absorbed. And in the process of that absorption of nutrients, this bile, some of this bile that, well, a lot of this bile that was discharged from the liver gets reabsorbed back to the liver through the portal circulation, what we call the portal vein. And the same process happens again. The cholesterol is redischarged through the bile back to the bowel, and then gets reabsorbed through the portal vein back to the liver again. So this is what we call the enterohepatic circulation. So how we achieve reduction of our blood cholesterol levels is that we want to interfere with this reabsorption process. So we want to block the reabsorption of the cholesterol that's been let down through the bile to the bowel, such that most of it is not reabsorbed back to the liver. We're not going to succeed in blocking all of it, but we want to attempt to block the reabsorption of most of it. So if we do that, we're going to reduce our cholesterol levels. So that is the reabsorption aspect of it. What about the absorption aspect? Well, this one is quite straightforward. The inhibition of the absorption is simply inhibiting the absorption of the cholesterol that comes in through our dietary cholesterol. So foods that are high in saturated fats and of course cholesterol, they come straight to the stomach and then to the intestines where they get digested, and of course the cholesterol in the food, some of it anyway, is absorbed into circulation, received by the liver, and then discharged into circulation. And then some of that then gets involved in the enterohepatic circulation all over again. So what we want to do is primarily inhibit or block the absorption of the cholesterol that is present in the dietary cholesterol. Now, we are not the only ones who are targeting this. Big Pharma is also doing that. There's a medication called ezetimibe, and that is what ezetimibe does. It blocks the absorption of the dietary cholesterol. So how do we go about doing that if we are not Big Pharma? Well, by consuming foods that are high in soluble fiber. And these are the soluble fibers that we want to be aiming for. So pectin is one of them. Pectin is present in apples, pears, guavas, cherries. Those are foods that we want to be consuming, bananas as well. Beta glucan is another soluble fiber. This one is present in oats. Foods that have mucilage, and I'm going to be doing a video on this probably next week or the week after, so I'm not going to talk about this now. Plant stanols and sterols we want as well, but this overlaps with this. And I'm also going to do a special video on plant stanols and sterols, so we're not going to talk about this today. So by eating foods that are high in soluble fiber, we block the reabsorption and absorption of cholesterol from the bowel. That way, we reduce our level of blood cholesterol.
And I just want to add that what the Hillright folks are doing, they're using the plant stanols and the sterols approach, which is why it actually works. So, go ahead and really get this nutrient bars. Is a shortcut to lowering your cholesterol. So, back to the presentation again. Now it's time for us to talk about axis number 3.
And now to axis or pillar number 3. So what do we do here? Well, the task here is very simple. Essentially, all we want to do here is encourage bowel motility to facilitate expulsion through our number 2. So we simply want to do number 2 on a regular basis, because constipation is bad news for cholesterol management. Because if you think about it, the last thing you want to do is mop up the cholesterol from the bowel using soluble fiber, and then you go ahead and stagnate in the large bowel for the next 3 days, the next 4 days, the next 6 days, or even 7 days. Because the longer the food spends inside the large bowel, stagnated there, the higher the likelihood that some of the cholesterol that we mopped up earlier on will break free and will be absorbed into the circulation. And so when we do that, then of course, we're not helping the situation, because our cholesterol levels are just going to remain elevated. So having regular bowel movements helps a lot. And how do we do that? Well, by eating foods that are high in insoluble fiber. So foods like the legumes, the beans, the peas, the lentils, the broccolis, the cauliflowers, the kale, the spinach. We want to eat those foods that are high in insoluble fiber, because once we do that, then we're going to be regular. And that way, we will be moving things along. And that is how you use pillar number 3 to help with your cholesterol management using dietary approach.
So hopefully you now understand what it means to reduce your cholesterol levels using dietary approach. It's very simple. You just need to reduce your dietary consumption of cholesterol. That's the first thing. The second thing is you also eat foods that are high in soluble fiber, and that includes plant stanols, and the nutrient bars are a shortcut to getting that soluble fiber that you need. Is all in here. It's been properly formulated for you, easy peasy. And of course, enter Dr. Joe when you're checking out, and you get your 20% off. And the third thing you need to do is to eat foods that are high in insoluble fiber to help escort the cholesterol out of the body. If you do that, you are never going to have any problems with your cholesterol levels any longer. So hopefully you got some value from this very video. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please like the video, and also please share this video with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. If you've got any any questions at all, any comments regarding the content of this video presentation, go ahead, leave your comments or questions down below. Guess what? I think that's about it for this very video. Until next time, well, this is Dr. Joe signing.